We're back with more cozy mystery fun. Stay tuned. Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Cozy Mystery Tea Time. How was your holiday break? I hope it was restful and fun, and I hope you just really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my break for the holidays. We had a great Christmas, just had a great time. I meant to start these videos back last week, but this is what always happens to me with a holiday break. When the kids are off of school, I always totally overestimate how much I'm going to get done, right? Do you do that too? So once they go back to school, it takes me a good couple of weeks to really kind of, get back into the groove. So let's get started. This week, I wanted to talk about some of my favorite British cozy mysteries. My middle child and I, he's 7, we were so lucky to be able to take a trip to London over Christmas break. We left New Year's Eve and we came back the day before school started. So we had about 4 or 5 days. And it was really special. London is always a city that I wanted to see. And so we got to do all of the London things like ride a double-decker bus, have afternoon tea. We went to the British Museum. We had a blast. And it was also really special because, he is the middle child. Are there any middle children watching? I'm an older child, so I'm an oldest. So I can't really relate to this. But I have a 13-year-old, I have a 7-year-old, and I have a toddler. And, toddlers get all the attention. They're into everything. They're running around. They're being crazy. You have to watch them constantly. And my 13-year-old, he's on the spectrum. And so there are just a lot of times where I have to be spending more time with him, helping him when he needs help. So my middle child for the past year, I think, has really been feeling like a classic middle child. So not only was it great to go see an amazing city, we just got some great one-on-one time. And I'm going to share some of our pictures if you want to see them at the end of this video. We had a blast. And who doesn't love London? I mean, it's such an iconic city. So with that in mind, I came back to this side of the pond really in the mood to read some British cozy mysteries. And there are some amazing ones. I mean, to me, in my mind, Great Britain is where the cozy mystery was born, right? Because, to me, the mother of the cozy mystery is Agatha Christie. So before I get started, though, I wanted to share what I just read and what I'm reading next. Okay, what I just read, I'm going to hold it up for you, is Murder, She Knit. And it is a knit and nibble mystery by Peggy Earhart. Guys, I loved this. I bought this when I went on my bookshop tour, and a couple of you were saying that you really enjoyed this, and you were totally right. This is a great book. The best way for me to describe this book is, it's a knitting mystery, and to me it was just like wearing a cozy, comfy, oversized sweater. It's like eating comfort food. It was kind of slow-paced and like a gentle story. It was totally relaxing to read a little bit of it every day. I loved the characters. It's a murder that takes place within a knitting group that meets in a small town outside of Manhattan and like on the Jersey coast, I think I remember that right. It was a really good read. And if you need something relaxing, if you've got a stressful time in your job right now, or, just something where you need to come home and just totally relax, fix yourself a nice cup of tea and read. This is the first book in the series, Murder, She Knit. It was awesome. Plus, there's a cat. Who doesn't love a good cat story, right? Okay, what I'm reading right now, guys, I love it. I love it. But it's almost, to me, the writing style is almost the exact opposite of Murder, She Knit. It is Death of a Kitchen Diva. And the author is Lee Hollis. That's actually a brother-sister duo. that write under the name Lee Hollis, and it is a Haley Powell food and cocktails mystery. Murder is the first course. Okay, so this one is, where else are cozy mysteries set, right? It's set in Maine, which at first I was like, really, another Maine cozy mystery? Do I want to read this? I'm so glad I read it, or I'm starting to read it. I'm about 5 chapters in. And the reason I say it's kind of the opposite writing style of Murder, She Knit is, whereas Murder, She Knit was very gentle and relaxing, this is very snappy and very funny and very witty and a little sarcastic. And it's just, I'm 5 chapters in, and I feel like she's packed in, or the author has packed in so much information, and it's a really quick-witted story. Haley, what is her name? Haley Powell is the main character, and she's a single mom raising 2 teenagers, and within the first chapter, she's going on a first date, and right as the date pulls up to her door, she's getting arrested for murder. So talk about some drama. And then the story kind of backtracks to how she got to that point. And she's a food writer for a newspaper. So totally enjoying it. I would definitely recommend it. Okay, so let's start with 3 British cozy mysteries that I've either read or want to read. And, let's just enjoy this British theme. The first one is a book that I want to read. It's in my TBR pile. It is The Inspector and Mrs. Jeffries. And this series is the covers and the description kind of have a Downton Abbey feel to me. It's set in Victorian times. It's got a British period piece feel. The inspector is an inspector for Scotland Yard, and kind of the running joke in this series is the inspector is kind of clueless, even though he has a reputation for solving all of these really hard to solve crimes. And the secret behind that is his housekeeper, Mrs. Jeffries, is the one who's really solving the crimes. So it just looks like it's funny. I enjoy a period piece drama, and I enjoy Downton Abbey, obviously. So I think this would be something in that same vein that I would enjoy. Okay, my second one is I read the first one, I listened to the first one via audiobook, and the audiobook version was really good. So I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with the audiobook because I enjoyed the way the narrator read it, or if I'm going to switch to just regular old print. But it's the Hat Shop Mystery Series by Jenna McKinley. And the premise of this one is kind of like what I wish would always happen to me. You have this British relative, or maybe you could have a French relative or something, call you up out of the blue and say, hey, you've inherited this shop or this castle, you inherited something in England or in France, and you have to come take care of it, and you have to come, live this glamorous life with it. I wish that would happen to me. It hasn't happened yet, though, so oh well. But in this series, the main character, she has family in London, and her cousin calls her to say that her aunt left this really chic hat shop in her will to the cousin, like a joint ownership, the cousin and the main character. So she travels to London to work in this hat shop, and it's got British aristocracy coming in to buy hats, and there's a murder mystery, but in the first book there's also a bit of intrigue because the British cousin goes missing, and so they have to find her as well. It's got some good humor in it, some definite American and Great Britain culture clash type jokes that I enjoyed. So it was a good listen, and I think it would be a good read too. So that's the Hat Shop Murder Mystery Series by Jen McKinley. Okay, next on my list, and the last book I'm going to talk about, is the Kensington Palace Chef Mysteries. The first one is called Kale to the Queen, and these books are by Nell Hampton. Now, the main character gets hired as the head chef in Kensington Palace. So she is going to be cooking for the royal family every single day. And if that wasn't pressure enough, she finds a murdered dead body in the kale beds when she's picking vegetables for lunch one day. So not only does she have to deal with, pleasing royal fancy palates, she also has to deal with who is this person and why have they been murdered in her kitchen. Plus, just like the last series I talked about, there's some good old-fashioned, American Britain culture clash that I enjoy and that I find funny. So I recommend that series. I read the first book, I enjoyed it, and this reminds me that I need to go buy the second book because I really did enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to share with you some of our photos just because they're fun, and I hope you enjoyed this list of books. I'm so glad to be back, and I'm looking forward to connecting with all of you about more cozy mystery topics. If you can think of a topic that you would love to hear about and talk about, leave it in the comments below. I will definitely check them out and get some good ideas for our next videos. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.